So if you can give us just sort of the most current research, the most current, let's say, the projections that we're looking into as far as the World Tourism Organization, and just sort of just give us an overview of what's happening, what you're exposing to the world, and what you'd like to see happen.
Okay. Well, the world tourism has become part of mankind's life. And when we talk about tourism, we talk about the business traveler, the leisure traveler, those that are visiting friends and relatives. We are going to reach next year, 2012, the milestone mark of 1 billion international arrivals worldwide. So that is just to show how important it is. And that does not include, evidently, domestic tourism. And our estimates is that domestic trips are 3 to 4 times as big as international trips. Now, 1 billion international arrivals by air or by surface, from advanced economies to developing economies, from emerging economies to advanced economies, or among them. So what we have seen in the last decade is a very interesting trend of the emerging economies increasing their share in the international arrivals. So in about 2 to 3 year times, we will see that emerging economies will receive 50% of international arrivals, whereas 30 years ago, they only had 30% of international arrivals. Another recent phenomenon that's very visible is that emerging economies are becoming more and more an important source of international travel for tourism. So this is very important. Now, if we look at the phenomena that are behind these figures, they are fascinating. Tourism is probably one of the easiest sectors for the youth to come into the labor market for the first time. Second, it's a sector that takes a lot of women to work. So we have just concluded joint research with UN Women, and it shows that in Latin America, 60% of the jobs in tourism are taken by women. So that's a very important feature of tourism as well. And a third and not less important feature is that tourism provides a lot of entrepreneurial opportunities. And you do not have to have a large capital to come into tourism. So these are some of the features and trends that we see for tourism. Now, there are other issues that are very important we are working on, are the issues, for example, the issue of climate change. And we see how much tourism impacts on climate change and how much it can mitigate climate change as well. And the issue is very important for us because for many destinations, climate change, let's say the impact of climate change is very adverse for tourism activities. And I could mention islands, the SIDS, and also mountain destinations that rely on snow tourism. So these are being affected by climate change. So we have initiatives to mitigate that impact from our sector.
And to follow up on that, when we were in London for the World Tourism Fair last year, one of the key things was to make sure that governments really put tourism and ministers of tourism on their agenda, right? Whether it's more monetary funding, more attention to research, etc. Right? Mm-hmm. What's your take on that? Is there enough government involvement when it comes to promoting tourism and what's needed in terms of resources? Or if not, what needs to be done?
Yes, governments world over see more and more the importance of tourism in terms of its economic impact, social impact, besides environmental and cultural issues linked. So Normally in the promotion, governments do it jointly with the private sector. There are different ways of doing it, but governments are normally participating in one way or another. Now, it's very important that governments also invest in research, in statistics, in calculating the impact of tourism in GDP, and we assist governments, whether they are from developed countries or developing countries, in that regard. So tourism requires a lot of research, and it's worth investing there because tourism has a big impact in people's lives, in terms of job generation, income generation, and it's important both for the advanced economies and to the emerging economies alike.
Sure. And then let's finally talk about sustainable development. The upcoming Rio+20 conference next year in June in Rio de Janeiro. Sustainable development and tourism, I think, go hand in hand, and I think my understanding is that it could really fuel sustainable development, but you tell us how and why.
Well, we consider that sustainable development in the three pillars on the social development, economic growth, and environmental protection. And for tourism, also the issue of cultural promotion and preservation is also very, very important because in leisure tourism, what we rely on is on the natural and cultural attributes of the country, or that destination. So with those natural and cultural attributes, you make the products, the tourism products. So that's one aspect that's extremely important for us. The other one is on the job generation capacity of tourism for the youth, for the women, as I said, and in terms of economic growth, tourism has such impact, indirect effects on other sectors of the economy that really when we talk about tourism, we are talking about the three traditional pillars of sustainable development plus the important aspects of cultural heritage and that countries have, local communities have. So in that regard, we see Rio+20 as a great opportunity to show the importance and the values of tourism.